Dr. Bob, the second week of February. That was our first face-to-face contact, but I actually made first communication with Bob through eHarmony, January 22nd, 2011. And that was when I initially first contacted him in eHarmony. My comment to him was, you have a very interesting and unique profile.
But some of them I kind of wondered about because they had a little list of things you have in common, and some of them had nothing in that list. And some of them had more, like Marie had like Mexican food, use money wisely. I thought that was a good one. Let's see, what was the other one? About 8 or 10 of them all together. So I thought, well, and I liked her smile.
The background was his library, and I thought, you know, that's very unique, because actually that captured my attention with the books in the background. And I initially thought, I wonder if this man is a geek, a bookworm. Let me think, what other, an intellect. But that's what captured my attention, I think, the books in the background. And then I found out months later that he loves to read and he writes. So
she said that she wasn't sure about me because I took my eHarmony photos had books in the background. And but anyway, she said she likes intellectuals. We started doing this, you know, 10 things you like and 10 can't haves. You know, they have like 4 or 5 steps before you start emailing. But she went right to the email about like the second interaction. She said, let's start emailing each other. So we did that through the eHarmony system. And then, I don't know how long ago, how far after that was, maybe 2 or 3 weeks or so, or something like that. She said, let's meet. And so we met at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf in Belmont Shores. And she later told me the first thing she noticed about me was hair in my nose.
And it was so interesting because there was a space in front of me, and I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if Bob could get that parking space? And as soon as I looked up, I saw the side of his face, and without seeing him, just his pictures, I had a feeling it was him. And so I thought it was so nice, and I said, thank you, Lord, because I was praying about our first meeting. And so he ended up parking right in front of me.
So when we met at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, she had a bag full of all of my favorite foods that I had mentioned. I thought that was very charming, made me very interested in her. She thought it was funny that I brought some books that I wanted to talk about instead of getting to know her.
But really, he was oblivious to me. I think he was paying more attention to his books. I don't think I ever told him that, because I could see that he was just kind of positioning his books, getting ready to meet me. And so when he came close to me, I knew that was him, and I said, are you Bob? And so he said yes, and so we proceeded to walk in the coffee shop. So he took me to Lake Gregory, and we spent a whole day together, and it was really a wonderful time. My initial thought was, I think this Lord, because I prayed, Lord, this is the man. And then of course after that thought was my daughter, because then I knew that things would change. Oh, I didn't mean to cry. And so that adjustments had to be made. But I knew and I knew and I knew that Bob was going to be the man after our initial whole day's date.
So things progressed pretty fast. And gosh, it wasn't but I think about 3 months or 4 months till I thought it was time to propose.
Because he actually went through 4 proposals. So I'm thinking that on our 3rd month of our relationship, I believe it was in the car, and he asked if he said, can I marry you?
I said something like, I think we ought to get married, don't you think that's a good idea? And she didn't quite understand that as a proposal question, so she just said, well, you know, I don't know, I guess, you know, maybe it is, we'll see.
But I didn't think he was very serious, and so I just kind of slept it off because he didn't have a ring or anything, so I just didn't say anything, and we just proceeded to talk, whatever.
The second time I proposed, I said, you know, will you marry me? Because that's the more direct question. And she said, yes, but you're supposed to do it with a ring. So the 3rd time I proposed, I got her an engagement ring and said, will you marry me? Here's an engagement ring, nice big diamond. She said, well, yes, but you've got to ask my mother's permission and my daughter's permission first. So I thought, okay, the fourth time is the charm, right? So
his final proposal was May 1st, and he asked for my mother and my daughter's hand in marriage. And that was his fourth time. And then that's when he asked me in front of my mom and my daughter for their permission to marry me.
I finally said, you know, Mom, can I have your permission? She said yes. Daughter, can I have your permission? She said yes. So they said yes. And so then I said, actually I forgot to do the actual proposal that time. But I said, so I guess this means you want something to put on your finger.
And so they said yes, and my mother almost cried, and I almost cried. But it was very unique in the way he proposed.
Gave her this, which is a vegetable slicer that you put on your finger.
And he gave me a ring vegetable peeler. But that's Bob, because Bob has a sense of humor. So I laughed, but my mother had a straight face because she didn't know what to say, and so did my daughter.
But that wasn't good enough. So I said, oh, I guess you want a piece of jewelry. So I pulled out this. Said, here's a ring.
And then the second ring was a kid Cracker Jack ring with a big stone. And so he gave that to me, and then of course I laughed again. They still didn't know what to say. They had a smug face.
But that apparently wasn't good enough either. So I said, oh, I guess you want an engagement ring. So I pulled out this. You can see it glitter in the sunshine. But then I said, I guess you don't want cubic zirconia, do you? You want a real diamond. I did give her another piece of jewelry, though. You can see this glittering in the sunshine. This was from, was this from Tiffany or the dollar store? No, that's right, it was from the dollar store. Don't tell her that. So I gave her a real diamond ring, but she hasn't given that back. I can't show it to you because it's on her finger right now.
And that was it. So I said yes. I think I kissed him on his ear and I said yes.
She laughs easily. She likes my jokes. She thinks I'm smart. She actually thinks I'm good looking too. She needs to have her eyes checked. But anyway, she likes me, and I find her charming. Like the whole thing about, you know, bringing me the foods I liked. I thought that was a lot of fun.
I actually think that my favorite pastime, and it will continue, is us sitting in his family room holding the Bible and just sitting next to him and very close. And I remember a tender moment when before we read the Bible that he just embraced me and we prayed.
We like reading the Bible. We like cooking. It's just kind of it doesn't matter what we're doing, it's just doing things together that we enjoy.
Chimney tops, that's where you'll find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. High above the chimney tops, that's where